Okay, so today we are discussing about the content fragment. So firstly, we have a fragment, and fragment have two types. Firstly, content fragment and the experience fragment. So today in this session we are discussing about the content fragment. So firstly, content fragment is nothing but your content only. So if you manage your content, if you want, consider, if you want to create the content, delete the content, and publish page independent the content, then you can simply go with this content fragment. Now consider you have we have a student, okay, and in this student maybe we have 100 student, okay, 100 student we have, and for this student every student have some content. So this content we have to store somewhere, okay. If you want to store in your AEM, then you can simply go with this content fragment. Again I'm just telling, like, so you have a 100 student, and from this, like, this student information you have to store in a AEM, then you can simply go with this content fragment. So managing your content only. This is nothing but your content fragment. But the thing is, it's just simple and pure content. It may be a images, okay, but primarily it's just simple and text and related images only, and they are a pure content, okay, without style and the layout. That means we don't have a style and the layout in this content fragment. If you want style and the layout, for that we have to use the experience fragment. So we have a experience fragment, we have to use this, okay. And another thing, content fragment allow you to create a channel natural content along with the channel specific variations. So like, maybe now you have a 100 student. Is it important to create 100 times the same data? Okay, the content may be a different, but maybe a data type is same. Like, for the student we need a F name, for a student we need a L name, for a student it may be a age. So this content may be a different, but every time this content, that means F name, maybe sometimes it's a search, sometimes it may be a digital pod something, okay, next time it's maybe L something, or it may be a 23 or something, okay. So this content may be a some same, different, but this data type always should be a same only. So that's why, so for that, here for this we will simply create a content fragment model. That means this is called as a variation. So consider the same data type we are creating. After that, based on this content fragment model, we are creating the content. That means content fragment we are creating, okay. So based on this you can create a one content, or it may be a more than one. So these are nothing but the variation. So this is the variation 1, and this is variation 2, okay. Yeah. And another thing, like, content fragment component displays the content from the content fragment. See, now for creating, now I'm just telling from the scratch, for creating a content fragment, see, content fragment is nothing but your content, real content, okay. After that, here we have a content fragment model. See, so this content fragment is nothing but your actual information. So I said, like, this is the first name search, second name it may be a software, and the age, okay, age may be a 20, okay. So this is the actual content, but data type will define inside this content fragment model. So this is the F name field will define, this is the L name, this L name field, and here we have a age, okay. And by using this content fragment model, we will create a content fragment. And this content fragment, right now we have fill only one information, okay. You can fill number of, okay, it's up to you. But when you are trying, this is the first one, okay, when you are trying to create a second one, this is nothing but the variation we have to create. So this one, the first one is the master by default, but when you will create a second or third, so these are nothing but your variations, okay. By default it's a master variation, you can create a n numbers of. After that, once you have created this content fragment, and this information if you want to print on your website, that means this is your website. So for that, we knows that for making one website we need a components, okay. For everything we need a component in a AEM. So for inserting this content fragment in this website, we need a content fragment component. So this is nothing but the content fragment component. We need a content fragment component for inserting this content fragment. Okay, and another thing, we have a variation, we knows that, and at the last, once we have created the content fragment, we can deliver the content fragment in a JSON format. Okay, in any format, it's up to you. It may be a XML format, it may be a JSON, or it may be anything. Okay, it's up to you. So when we will make a content or will create a content, that content, if you want to transfer or deliver to a third party, then you can transfer using a XML and the JSON. Okay, so this is the thing. And another thing, here you see, so these are nothing but your titles, or we can say this one is your content fragment model. So we have created this adventure content fragment model, and in the right hand side you will see the data types. Okay, and we just simply have to drag and drop it. So firstly we have drag, that is single text line. Okay, and after that here this is the multi text line. Okay, and here we have a drop down. So this is nothing but your enumeration. Okay, and this one is again single field. So in the right hand side you will see the data types, and you just simply have to make a form. You have to simply make a form here. Okay, so by using this content fragment model, we can simply create a content fragment. So here you see, here we have created. Now you have to fill the actual information inside this title. Here we have created a description. This is nothing but the description, and inside that you have to fill the real information. So this one is nothing but your content fragment. So now I'm just creating a content fragment. So firstly, for creating a content fragment, you have to come to the general, and here we have options of this configuration browser. So simply, I'm not creating a content fragment right now. I'm creating a folder structure for a content fragment. So you have to come here in this browser, configuration browser, and this one is not only for the each and individual, it's not only for the specific concept, it's for 5 or 6. Here you see, you are seeing 4 or 5. So these are the concepts. For that, this configuration browser is responsible for creating a folder structure. Okay, so right now I need a content fragment models folder structure. Then you have to click here. Content fragment, a content fragment I'm just giving folder, content fragment folder I'm just giving it. You just simply have to create. Okay, so we have created this content fragment folder. So where it will store exactly? In our CRXD. So we knows that whatever we will create in the conf, that means in the configuration browser, all the data will store inside this conf when you will create by using a conf folder. Sorry, so whatever you will create inside this configuration browser, all data will store inside this conf. Okay, so here you see, so we have created this content fragment model, and it will create this types of folder structure. But right now this is nothing but your content fragment model, and this content fragment model is also nothing but the DAM or the asset. Okay, that's why this is the folder structure they have created. And after that, content fragment model we haven't created, so that's why we don't have any content fragment model. Now how we can create? So for that you have to come here. Okay, and here we have options of the assets. Okay, and you will see here content fragment model. See, this is the content fragment model we have, and whatever folder structure we have created, you will see inside this content fragment model tools. See, this is the folder structure we have created. Inside that we have to create a content fragment model. Click here. After that, simply you have to create. So once you will create, it will ask for the title. So content fragment model, and simply create. It's not necessary to type descriptions. Okay, so this is the content fragment model we have created. Now I'm gonna edit this one. Okay, so in the right hand side you will see the data types. So how you want to make it, it's up to you. So right now I'm just simply dragging this single field data type, and it's a behavior. In the right hand side we have to fill the behavior of this field. So firstly, I don't want more than multi-line, that means more than one line. I just simply want only one line. So for that I am just selecting this text field. Here we have to fill the label. Okay, so this is first name, you can enter it. After that, so whatever data you will write inside this field, this data will store inside this f name. Okay, and this is the placeholder, so it will present inside your text field. Okay, so when you will type something, it will automatically remove. And this is the default value, and this is the maximum length. So if you want the default value, something value, if you are writing inside this, so this value will store in this variable. That's it. After that, I don't want any default value. The maximum length, okay, of the character, that is 255, and if it is a required, you have to click this required. So anyhow you have to fill this field. Okay, after that here we have a description. If you want, you can type. And multi-field we have, so you can just simply write here descriptions. Okay, and here this is the variable description. Here we have a lot of types of text, so we'll select the rich text. Why? Because it provides a lot of extra functionality to your text. So if you want to bold it, they will provide a bold option. If you want to italic, they will provide italic. Okay, so you have to click, and after that here we have a number. So if you want to take a number fields, then you can take a number. If you want to add more than one number, you can select a multi-field, but right now I just want to add only one. Phone number, that's it. And here phone number, this is the variable. You can name it anything, it's up to you. Okay, so here I am just simply writing a phone. Okay, it's not important whatever we are writing in the field label, the same thing we have to write. No. And type, if you want a fractional, then you can choose the fractional here, floating point value. If you want normal numbers, then you can choose an integer. Okay, so by default we choose integer, and this is the default value and the required. Now here we have a boolean. Boolean is nothing but the checkbox. So if you want true and the false value, then you have to simply use this boolean. Okay, or true or false. So here I am just saying like student. If it is a student, it will select click. If it is not, then it won't click. Default, if you want true, so you have to select this one. So by default I need true, so I have selected this. Now here we have a date and the time. So if you need these types of field, then you can use this field. Admission date, okay, and default value, if you want it, then you have to simply select from here. So I have selected this default value. Now we have enumerations. So basically enumeration is nothing but the drop down. So drop down, that means we have in the single field you will see more than one options. So that is nothing but the drop down, and you can select according to your need. So how we can separate? So here we have options. So how we can write an options here? So firstly we'll simply write here country. Okay, and here also I'm writing country here, and here we have to write a India, and we have to separate with the comma. That means these are nothing but the options. Okay, so India. After that here I'm just taking a German, or it's maybe a Japan, a USA, like that. So these are the things I have, these are the options I have written here, and I'm just simply separating with this comma, or you can simply write semicolon, comma, that's it. Okay, later that here we have a tags. So tags is nothing but the keyword. Okay, a tag is nothing but just simple a keyword. If you want to find out some specific content, based on some keyword, then you can simply use this tag. And here we have a content reference as well. So if you want to add a content fragment in another content fragment, then you can use this content fragment. So simply, I am not making complicated, I am just simply saving these changes. So we have created this content fragment model. Now the thing is, by using this content fragment model, now I have to create a content fragment. That means actual information I have to pass. So for that, you have to go in this assets, and here we have options of the files. So where you want to create your content fragment model, so I am creating first of all one folder, simple folder, content fragment folder I am just creating, and just simply create. So inside that, I just simply want to create a content fragment. Okay, so here we have options of the content fragment, but when I will click here, you will see one out of the box content fragment model. So this is nothing but the content fragment model. I have already told you, like for creating a content fragment, we need a content fragment model, and this is the content fragment model that Adobe has provided, but we don't need this one. We have created our own content fragment, so we have to use that one only. So for that, we have to give a permission. So just simply select this one, but before that, come here, and here you see we don't have anything. Just try to refresh it. Now you will see one content fragment model. Okay, so this is the content fragment model. So this is nothing but the template. Indirectly, it will store as a template only. Here you see CQ colon template. So type of this as a template. Okay, and here we have a models. Okay, and this one is our information. See, so firstly, what we have added, that is the first name. So first name, it has stored inside this, and the maximum length of this, what is the field label, what the resource type, that means how this field has created. So this field has created by using this text field. Okay, so it's a read only or not, a render read only, the metadata we have, value type we have, so everything we have. So it has stored inside this CQ dialog. Okay, so this is the thing. Now we knows that this is the content fragment model. It has present inside this folder, that is content fragment folder. Okay, so just select this one and give a permission. So I am just simply opening a properties. From there only I will give the permission. Okay, so I have opened. Now you will see this cloud services. Okay, so permissions we have. Okay, so inside this permission we can give the users permission only, but when you will select this cloud services, and now we have to simply select our content fragment folder. So this one is our own. So I have selected, and here you see indirectly it has rendered in from this conf folder. So we have to save and just simply click OK. Okay, now again you can go inside this, and after that you just simply have to create a content fragment. So once you will create a content fragment, now you will see your own content fragment model that you have created. So why it is coming here? Because you have given a permission to a particular folder. Okay, so that's why it is coming. Select and next. Now we have to return we are creating content fragment. Okay, so just give it a content fragment only. Now it's done. Okay, so this is the content fragment content fragment has created by using a content fragment model. Now you can just simply open this one because we haven't filled the information. Okay, so this one is our content fragment platform. There is the content fragment environment. So here you see, firstly we have created a single field, so that's why we have options of the single field only. Here we have a descriptions. So descriptions, so inside that we have this text area. So this is the text area. and we have selected as a rich text, so that's why we are getting a this bold, italic and underline option. So here we have more than one options, lot of options we have. Okay, so we have to active that one, so sum up isn't deactive. Okay, so here we have phone number as well, and after that here we have a students. Okay, student by default isn't true. Why? Because there we have selected this boolean as a true, and here default we have added one date there, so that's why it has coming. And then at the last we have this country, and country is an enumeration data type, so that's why once you will select here you will get the a lot of options. Why? We have written there and we have separated this by using a comma. Okay, so that's why we are getting these options. Okay, now you can fill the informations. Okay, this is the informations. If you want to bold, you can bold it. Okay, so now first name, this is the thing I have written. Now you can just simply save it. But now maybe now we have created and I have edited everything. Now this information we have, so this is by default a master variation. So first maybe we have a student that is search. First our student is search, it has this number and some description it has, and he is a student. Okay, and after that this is the admission date and he is from the India. But maybe in the same class we have a more than 100 student, or maybe we have a 15 student. Okay, so for each and every student content may be a different, but this field may be a same for everything. So that's why now we have created a content fragment model. By using we have created this content fragment, and this is the information we have passed. So if you want to pass the second information, second student information, here you can simply create a variations and you can just simply name it. It may be a Rohit, so for the Rohit you have to create this content fragment, so this variation you have to create. So by default inside this Rohit, by default it will copy this master variation only. So you will see this. So here we have to change. He is a student, and after that some other roll numbers. Okay, and he is a student, admission date may be a different, and he is from India only. Yeah, and another thing you will see here, when you will click on this master, okay, when you will click on this master, you don't have any options for delete or rename. Okay, but when you will click on this Rohit, then you have options of this. You can rename it, otherwise you can delete. But maybe a 20 or 30 variation it has created by using this master, and maybe they have given options of this master to rename and delete. So based on that everything will change, so that's why they haven't provided the options of delete this master. Okay, so I have changed these variations as well. And after that if you want to add a comment, that means some message, if you want to pass it, then you can pass from here. Okay, so this is the message, you have passed it. So this thing is done. Now you can simply save it. The last step is, now we are creating this content fragment for transferring to a different user, otherwise for transferring to a third party. Otherwise you want to show all this content in your page or in your website. So for that you just simply have to come here in your sites. This one is our sites. So there I have mentioned it. Okay, so I already mentioned there. For creating a firstly we have to create a content fragment model, that we have created. After that we have to create a content fragment. So there we'll write actual information. So this content fragment it will create by using this content fragment model. So once you have a content fragment and this information if you want to render in your website, so for that we need a component. Okay, so what is that? This is the content fragment. So we need a content fragment component, so we can able to insert this content inside this content fragment inside this website. So just come here and you will select anything. Here we have a content fragment somewhere. This is our content fragment, so you have to select this. So it has already provided. After that you have to click and configure it. So once you will configure, you will see this interface. So this is the out of the box interface, and you have to select your own content fragment. So where is our content fragment? So this is this one we have created content fragment folder, and inside that we have created this content fragment. So you have to select and just simply configure it. So once you will configure, you will get the first name, this one descriptions and the phone number and student and admission date and the country. Now you want to, so this is the information, we got it. If you want to change this information, you just simply have to another configure it, and then here we have a variation that is master. Instead of master, now I just want to print the Rohit information, then you can select this Rohit and print the information. See, now it has changed everything. But the thing is, now here we have a first name, description, phone number, student and admission date and the country. But I only need this phone number and the first name. I don't want this description, student and admission dates and the country. Okay, based on this data I just want to call them. Based on this name I am just filtering and I just want to call. So only these two things we need. So for that you have to configure it, and you have to select multi-field, and then you have to say like I need a first name and I need a number, phone number. That's it, only these two things we need. Okay, so you have to select first name and the phone number. That's it. But if you want only one, then you can simply select a single text element, and which one you want to print. So I just simply want a country, so you can select a country here, country India. That's it. Okay, so this is about the content fragment.